Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, my friends. How are you? Let's see who's here. Eric, hello. It's the Cakes. Two Mises, hello. Mr. Kalfa, welcome. CEB09321, welcome, welcome. Hello. Peaches, thank you so much for the 22 months. Wow. Thank you. 2 more months before your new badge. Yeah, true. Yo, One Drunk Man. MSA, hello. Mr. Kupo, Future Bound. I'm doing alright, how are you? One Drunk Man says, Diego's intro music slaps harder than Will Smith. I'm not sure. That was a pretty strong slap. Brandon, hello. Thanks for the 13 months. Thank you. Thok Thumbs, hello. Chicagoan, how are you? Mr. Marsh and GZ, hello. What's up? Alright. How's everybody doing today? It is a cold Tuesday, at least here in the city. It's been suddenly cold. It's kind of weird, but it's been strangely colder these days. The weather's been a little weird, to be quite honest with you. I've been feeling a bit off because of it, I think. Maybe like I'm feeling a little lethargic, sort of, like kind of tired. Yeah, so yeah, you know. Yeah, cold out of nowhere is right. Oh, breezy. My Alex Spring just delivered. I'm building right now. Oh, nice. So we're gonna be co-building together. Very sweet. I watched the Cuts Will speech after he has received the awards. Kind of contradicts his actions. Kind of cringed. I mean, yeah. I mean that's part of the irony there, right? But again, you know, if you want critics, you can find them on Reddit. You can find them on Twitter. I think I feel like you can find all the possible reactions there. And I've read through like a lot of them already. You know, like about the whole relationship thing, and there's a lot to be said about it. Honestly, no good excuse for assault. No good excuse for violence. No good excuse for poor anger management, I would say. But so it goes. Everybody has a limit. Everybody, at some point, everybody explodes. That's just the reality. And so that's what happened. Unfortunately, it was done in Spotlight, so you suffer the consequences if it goes, you know, south, so to speak. He did it for content? Maybe it was all for content. Maybe both Chris and Will were improvising on the spot for content. Well, for now, we know for a fact that Chris Rock's gonna have content for like the next 10 years, and it's gonna juice it if he wants to, so we'll see. But I mean, anyhow, yeah, that aside, Nerd Rage, yeah, probably, maybe. Oh, Mr. Frank, hello, how's it going? It's good to see you. I saw you last time. I am sorry I did not mention your name, I think. But I did see you in the chat. Doing okay? Yeah. I hope you've been well, dude. I mean, you know, day in, day out, right? Just trying to hang in there. Get by every day. Honestly, that's how I feel right now. Just kind of trying to get by day by day. Can't say I'm thrilled every day, but I also can't say I'm doing bad or poorly. I can't really say that. Like, it's hard to admit to that because it's not true. I'm doing fine, you know? It's just every day. It's just another day. But yes, we should be grateful to have yet another day in our lives. That's what it is. Just been busy with work. Busy is good. I mean, busy means hopefully you're, you know, making money from working and making progress with whatever you might be working on. Alright, so today we are building a Matrix Lab ME. So this is the packaging here at the front that says, "Hello, it's me." Powered by Matrix Lab. Pretty cool. And then we first are welcomed with this box within a box. From what it appears. Let's take it out. Hello, do we have time for a Totoro typing test? Is it disabled? I don't think it's disabled, but I mean, we can do it at the end, yeah. Alright, so we're welcome with this first box, which has feet, screws, and some more. We have a PCB with what appears to be foam. We have a polycarbonate plate. We have some daughter board cables and the daughter board itself. We have an aluminum plate with a lot of cuts. I don't really think this does much, but we'll see. We're also gonna be using like all the foam, so don't think this is gonna do much. And also just the way it looks, I think it's just cool looking, but I don't really think it does much. But anyway, we have a very contrived, complicated aluminum plate. And then kill switch redeem Totoro typing test. Alright. Do you want me to do it now or at the end? That's a question. Alright. So this is the badge. So there's a slot for one badge here. I think it's like you can probably order more. But basically there's a slot for a badge here. And then there's the "Hello, it's me," or "Hello, it's ME powered by Matrix Lab" badge. Looks pretty nice. Very colorful. Up to you. I think at the end is probably easiest, because that's when I'm definitely gonna type. But if you're not gonna be around, you know, I can do it somewhere in the middle. Let me know. And we have these little. So these things are. So I actually did build a Matrix ME off stream for somebody, and so these things are like little tabs that go on the plate tabs, like on top of the plate tabs. They sort of like secure the plate onto the top piece. So it's interesting. It's like it's a gasket mount, but it gets mounted to the top piece anyway. So you could say it's almost like a burger mount with tabs and gaskets, which is like because it's secured with these guys to the top piece. So you'll see when I start assembling it. Snick Rab, hello, how are you? Anyway, I'll show that off when we get there, or not show off really, just show you how it works rather. More foam. All right, and now we have these are the gaskets. So we have a lot of gaskets, all these gasket strips to go onto the plate. Yeah, so these will be placed on the plate rather than on the case. They do provide like quite a few extras and whatnot if you need to. But we're only doing one build, so it should be plenty enough. And then looks complicated. Yeah, it's just a lot of parts, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's just a lot of parts. It's very typical of Matrix to have a lot of parts. But that said, it doesn't mean it's necessarily that complex. I believe this is an add-on called a sound pack. They call this a sound pack basically, but the sound pack essentially consists of a rubber mat. So this rubber mat gets attached to the bottom case. So this fills the bottom case. This is plate foam. You've seen this before, right? It's just standard plate foam. So this just goes in the middle between the PCB and the plates. And then this is essentially the equivalent of PE foam, right? I think it's still Poron, but I'm not sure. And then basically this goes in between the PCB and the plate as well, but below the switches rather than around the switches. So yeah. Only 3 foam? Yeah, only. Very, very little. This weather I hate it, but I'm also not surprised. Yeah, that's true. Like I also feel the same way. It's like, it's still March, technically, so the weather is expected. Like, it's still within my expectations of what the weather is. For New York City. Or for the East Coast in general. So I'm personally not too bothered. But at the same time, I am. Because it's cold. And it wasn't cold a few days ago. Anyway, maybe I'll just actually put this way so I can just have access to it later on. Put this aside for a sec. Alright, so we have our sound pack here. And then we have our case. He must be pumping in your building if you have a t-shirt on. I always have a t-shirt on, only a t-shirt on in my room because it's central heating and it's always on. Pretty much always on, except for like when it actually becomes spring, which is not until like April. So yeah, it's always kind of warm in my house, except like the living area. Like the living room is colder because it's like a wider space. But yeah, it's normally pretty warm in my apartment, like in the whole building actually, central. So we had a pretty serious downpour over here in the southwest. Wait. A downpour is not a good thing, considering that, well, California especially, and I don't know, parts of the Southwest are suffering from droughts ever so often. So I suppose a downpour is pretty good. I don't know, it might be bad. Might be sudden and bad. So, oh, whoa, okay. So I believe this is like is this like the Starry Night or Nebula finish or whatever? But look at this finish. Oh, okay, is this focusing? Okay. This is like black with sparkles. It's a coated finish, I think. But it's like black and has like little sparkly thingies. I actually don't know what it's called, the finish. You can probably look it up in the ME thread, in the Geekhack thread for the ME. It's all made out of aluminum. So I actually now understand the difference. So the one I built on off-stream, I built off-stream ME, and I guess that's the Matrix ME SE Special Edition, and now I understand why. There's some key differences. The SE, the main difference is that, first of all, this bottom is stainless steel. It has a brushed stainless steel weight. Another thing that's different about the SE is that the SE has the badge, like the LED thing, the daughter board with the LED, RGB LED, with like a heart shape or like a star shape or like Matrix Lab logo, you know, whatever it is, right? It has that like Matrix Lab, quintessential Matrix Lab RGB accents on the Aero cluster. Another thing is it also provides the option at the corner for an accent and RGB. Like this, like corner has like an open part where you can put an accent or RGB. That's part of the SE. In the case of the normal one, as you can see, it's a closed case, a completely closed case. So those are the main differences between the SE and the regular Matrix ME. So definitely much simpler in the case of the basic Matrix ME, so to speak. And yeah, but the rest is the same. The mechanism of the plate is the same. The sound pack is still an optional thing. Plates, that stuff is, I think, the exact same. So yeah, so fewer cables and fewer things to work with in the case of the regular one. Okay, so let's see. Don't need these gaskets right now, so just gonna put them aside for a second. This little badge here, you can just slap it right on. It's actually a magnet over here, so you can just boom, pop it right in. It stays flat. In the case of the SE, it's the same thing. It also has a little opening here that you can just pop the badge onto. So that's pretty neat. Little magnet over there. Keyword feet. We can attach these. Is it white sparkles or colored sparkles? These are white sparkles, Funzy. These are white sparkles on this. They're not colored, they're white. Can you get it out? Yes, I think you can just, well, actually no. This is too flat, I think. I think this is actually, it's probably better if I just screw it off and push it up. Probably easier than, because it is a decent bit recessed here. But I mean, like, I could probably force it out like this, but it actually is a pretty strong magnet compared to the one on the artisan holder. Okay, it is Starry Night then. I see. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Konako, how are you? How's the cable biz going? How's life? Wait a second, did I just... What the F? Did this just... Oh, this is so annoying. This just came off with the adhesive. What? How do I... Oh my god. Can I put the adhesive back? This adhesive did not adhere to the rubber properly. Ah! I mean, I do have a few extras. I mean, one extra, so I guess I can't mess any more up. But this 3M adhesive did not adhere to the rubber properly. I'll just try to leave this one alone. Maybe I'll just compress it here on the side, and then with something, and then try these out. Sorry, I'm attracted to magnet jokes. I can see that, One Drunk Man. It is powder coated though. Yes, it is powder coated indeed. Okay, now I got it right. Gosh. It's going alright, Mr. Konako. How are you? Doing okay. It's been a little busy. I think I got the emote down, closed for now, taking care of personal stuff. Oh, I see. I hope the personal stuff works out fine. Personal stuff, you know, I get it. Electrostatic powder coating, to be precise. We like One Drunk Man's basically dad jokes here. They're appreciated in this chat. We appreciate those jokes in this chat. Okay, boomer moments. I'm not a father unless are you not Ron's father? Perhaps? Or are you Ron's cousin or brother or I don't know. Nephew? I don't know. Damn! Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, Mr. Konako. I appreciate it. You don't like dad jokes? That's somewhat unfortunate, Mr. Konako. That's a little unfortunate to hear from a fine person such as yourself. What's wrong with excellent humor? Alright, here we have our aluminum plates. Let's take a look. It's a nice gray aluminum plate. It's like a light gray. Has a fixed backspace and fixed right shift, so you cannot split those. It is ISO compatible, and yeah, that's about it. It's basically and standard ANSI or ISO, and then has step caps lock compatibility as well. Well, neat. Alright, we have our daughter board, cable, and connector. Oh, well, we're gonna need this for the PCB testing. So I'm gonna take it out. Only one cable because we only have this and no RGB on it. Quite handy. Not having to deal with RGB sometimes is pretty nice. Forced full backspace based? Yeah. I think on TKL, forced full backspace is the right thing. Is the correct thing to have. Don't forget to pay your taxes? I paid my taxes. I pay my taxes. What are you talking about? I actually already filed my return. It's not even April 1st and I've already filed my tax returns. PogChamp. Alright, so here we have our PCB. It's a nice green yellow sort of tone. And we have, as you can see, there's no LED compatibility other than caps lock and scroll lock if you wanted. But the rest is pretty much standard. There are these other connectors. So this connector is for the side LED for the SE, and this connector is for the front LED, the RGB accent in the case of the SE version. But for the basic one, we are only gonna use this one. Very nice and pretty PCB though. The traces look very pretty. Lots of flex cuts on this too. So interesting, but nonetheless not quite useful in the case of using all this foam. So we're gonna be utilizing the foam, so it is what it is. And then we have a piece of foam. It looks like it has some kind of adhesive on it, so you can actually paste it onto the PCB if you want it, on the bottom of the PCB that is. But I don't think we're gonna do that. We're just gonna use a rubber mat today. Alright, so that pretty much completes the unboxing here. And let's get all of our stuff here aside. And let's test out our PCB first to begin with. Okay. Green solder mask good? Green PCB, how could they? Am I right? Wow. Gosh. Gasp. Green PCB bad. Alright. Is this PCB? Oh, it's Zeal compatible, but not VIA, pretty sure, if I recall correctly. Does it have a reset button? Oh, it has reset. It has a reset jumper though. and I assume he also uses boot magic. I do have the hex file from the previous one, so I'm actually gonna wait. No, just plug it in. Then I think I can just jump it. These pins. Reset. Yeah. All right. Oh, let me show you what I'm doing. So it shows on QMK here. So it says at Mega32U4, and the other device is my K that's currently connected. And as you can see, I have a Matrix ME vial file. You can just flash it. Cool. I mean, this doesn't have LEDs or anything, so there's nothing to turn on for LEDs or turn it off. But just wanted to switch that over to vial. And then yeah, and then we can just actually still test it though. Still test this. The green is pretty off from the standard neon that most fabs use. Yeah, I guess that is true. Alright, so key tester, and we can just go to, oh wait, that's the wrong one. Also, why is my layout here in ISO? And also, yeah, that's off. Alright, oh, it's not gonna show up, right? So I can just go to the regular key tester and test it. Oops. No LEDs bad board. I like the no LED part actually. That's just me though. I never use them. I mean, at best I use like one for an indicator, but it's rare even that. Cause I also never use caps lock. Clackbait, hello, how are you? How's it going? Make PCBs green again. Yeah. But actually though, huh? Oh, you believe that should be control right now? Oh, I don't have a WinKey program, do I? I can just check VL to program that as a WinKey, perhaps. Okay, and oh, that's the WinKey. Okay, cool, that's fine. All right, everything works. It's kind of funny that caps is the most despised key by the community. Well, it's not that it's despised, it's just a very, like, you don't need it all the time. Like, it's a less used key, so yeah. Good evening, Iterak, how are you doing? Wow, the flex cuts. Wish I got in on this board. Oh, I see. You miss it. Okay, so let's see. Have stabs here. Why use caps when you can hold shift? Yeah, exactly. I like windowed indicator caps and having the indicator always on. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I personally don't really care about the indicator, to be frank with you. Like, I mean, I wouldn't keep it always on in the first place. But it's like all right, you know. It's nothing mind blowing though. It's like cool, but it's just a little novelty. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How am I supposed to spam Twitch chat without caps lock and having all caps messages? Just keep shift pressed, right? I mean, I know. Yeah, it's pretty funny though. I actually used to have a professor in college who would send all his emails in caps, like in all caps. It's pretty fun. It was somewhat endearing, to be quite honest with you. What was kind of ironic and funny about it was that he was a communication systems professor. Like, he taught communication systems, like the class. So he basically actually also was like one of the pioneers in the analog signal compression, like in analog signal processing for cell phones. And so it was kind of funny. Like, he was used to using all caps for messages, kind of like you would do for, I don't know, like a Telegram or something. You know, where like you're not really encoding like uppercase or lowercase. So yeah, it was kind of funny. But it was pretty endearing. Like, he was a really good professor. Actually, he was like one of the best professors I had. It was just kind of funny that was the case though. Like, it was really adorable in a way. Are Kiwis good switches? Yes, Kiwis are good switches. Yeah. All right, so stabs first, and then we can move on. All right, so stabs means I need lube. Means I need my brush, my trusty brush. All my homies hate caps. Yeah, we don't like caps. We like Kate, but not caps, right? Caps lock is especially useful for games with chat as well. Yeah, Genshin update 20 gigs, damn. I mean, I think they update, like the updates are big, but I don't think it's cumulative, right? MSA, I think some resources do get deleted when the new packages get installed. Now I realize I'll never be able to use HKB since it doesn't have caps. Dude, you can just reprogram it. You can just reprogram the caps lock. What are you even talking about? It's the same thing as Win keyless. It's so easy. Yeah, but it requires a hassle controller. Wait, do you already have an HKB? Do you already have like a HKB Pro 1 or Pro 2? No? Oh, if you get one of the new ones, it's programmable right out of the box. No hassle controller needed. Kate lock more functional than caps lock IMO. TBQH with you, fam. Oh shit, actually, yeah, they have their own programming tool. It's like a very small utility, like for Windows or Mac or whatever. Professor Parsons asks, I'm having a technical problem, can I ask advice or opinion? Yeah, sure. What's that? What's up? What's the problem? It isn't, you're right, but when the game was launched it was 8 gigs, now it's 40. I mean, no surprise there. We're already on 2.6 now? It's crazy. I'm not trolling, I genuinely use it a lot. Damn. Drew actually caps lock user. I mean, actually, no, you know, I know a lot of people who are caps lock users, so I don't blame you there. That said, I personally am, it really has changed me forever to not have to have a caps lock in that pinky position. That is actually very nice. And just to have, I mean, I do use caps lock. Okay? But I just put in a function layer on FN plus tab. That's the way the HKB does it. and I have it as FN plus tab on pretty much every single keyboard. So that is programmable. So that's how I toggle caps, which is very easy. Yeah, like it's quite accessible because still the pinky, but it's just two, right pinky and left pinky. Anyway, Professor Parsons asks, I put in some glorious pandas, lubed, and I'm having issues with multiple keys not registering all the time, and I have to press extremely hard to get it to work. Okay. First of all, you should rule out the problem. So the problem can be in two different places. The problem can be in the switches, and the problem can be in the PCB or the registering part, right? So does the PCB work with no problems if you use, let's say, tweezers at each of the contact points? If it does, then you were thinking, okay, it's probably the switches. And then you think, are the switches seated properly? If this is like a hot swap bar, for example. Right? And then after that, you should probably rule out the switches themselves, in the sense that, like, did you lube the switches? And then do you heavily lube the switches? And then have you tried replacing a switch if it's like a hot swap board? Have you tried replacing a switch and seeing if that helps? If it does, then it probably means it's the switch and not the PCB, right? And it's probably like, replace it with like a stock switch, or replace it, or change the positions of the switches and see if it happens in the other place and not in this place anymore. That can help too if you have a hot swap board. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So you already did the work yourself. So it probably means your switches are either over lubed, or maybe they're not closed properly. Something like that. I mean, the one thing you can try is, I mean, if you really want to go into the switches to like troubleshoot the issue, you could try opening them up again, like the problematic ones, one by one. Open it up, check if the switch leaf is like kind of like properly bent or kind of like properly placed. Maybe like fiddle around with it a little bit with like a pair of tweezers or something, just like a very teeny bit. You don't want to like bend it or anything. If you like bend it out of place, might actually lose your actuation completely. You just want to make sure that it's like in the default place and default way that it should be. And yeah, are you sure that the switch pins are going into the sockets? They can absolutely bend very easily. So just always make sure that every single switch pin is properly inserting into the hot swap sockets, as Funzy is saying. Yeah. So that's, I mean, barring that, if it's inside of the switch problem, it's probably like a lubing or like a switch closure kind of issue, where like basically the switch leaf is not touching the other part of the leaf properly. There's two parts to the leaf. There's a bent part that goes like this, and basically anytime you press it, it basically makes a contact like this. And like, you know, two parts are making contact like this. If it's not properly done, it'll like kind of be like halfway, or like kind of like barely making contact. So it could be something like that. I think if you got lube on the leaf, it could affect how it completes the circuit when pressed, if I recall correctly. Yeah. If you did get lube on the leaf, especially the part where it makes the contact, that could be a potential issue. So yeah, troubleshoot it in that way. Troubleshoot it one step at a time. You first make sure that the PCB is fine. If the PCB is fine and you think it's definitely the switch, then troubleshoot each switch individually. It's modular, so if you troubleshoot each switch until it like reliably works in that position, you can move on to the next one, and so on until you're done. I mean, obviously the quickest quote-unquote way that is also most expensive is to just replace all the switches, right? That seemed problematic. It's also time consuming. Mr. Huego, thank you so much for the 21 months. Wow, Mr. Huego is actually also not quite far away from getting the 2-year badge, which is actually kind of crazy. I mean, wait, 2 years? 2 years ago, that's 2020. That's kind of crazy. I mean, I was away in 2020 between basically like late December / early January through March, essentially. Came back. I think I started streaming around like April again, or yeah, I think that's right. So it's basically been since then. That's kind of like, you know, a little after that, but yeah, kind of crazy. Like the summer, time flies. Yeah, time really does fly. It's kind of insane. Just to think about it kind of makes me feel like, what have I done with my life in those 2 years? I've done a lot with my life in those 2 years, but was it good? I think so. But at the same time, if I put my life in perspective as far as where I am, what I'm doing, that hasn't changed too much. But my life has changed in those 2 years. Kind of weird. Weird feeling. It's like I'm in the same place in many ways, but I'm not at all in some other ways. So, they're using Glorious Pandas A figures. I mean, Glorious Pandas are still gonna be similar to any of very tactile switches. Actually, people say they like Glorious Pandas more than the drop Holy Pandas that were being made around the same time as the Glorious Pandas. So, yeah. You got JD, yeah, JD. Yeah, definitely growth as far as like the channel grew a lot in the pandemic time. I also went through a lot of stuff in those past 2 years. Went through a couple of breakups. Went through like being in the dating scene, a career change. I ditched medicine. I almost got evicted. My parents got sick. I was scared that I was gonna lose them at some point. Yeah, I just like went through a lot of shit. A lot of stuff happened. But hey, made it out safe and sound somehow. We all did. Which is, if you think back, it's kind of crazy. Like, I remember at that time that was not how I felt at all. 2020 was definitely a very shitty year in some ways, in some very big ways. It's like a year I would rather never relive again in that particular way. But nonetheless, it was also a year that I experienced quite a lot of things. But yeah, time flies. Time flies, guys. It's crazy. It's the Cakes. Are you here, by the way? I think I saw you at the very beginning of the stream. I actually have to send out your sticker. I just remembered just now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. All my homies hate 2020. Actually, though, right? Actually, though, I think 2020 was really brutal for so many people. Like from your job change to personal like issues of all sorts, being holed up with certain people that eventually became people that you really loathed and resented. That happened for a lot of people. And the other way around too. Some people got together and you know, they appreciate each other's company and that kind of stuff. Learning new skills, new outlooks, new hobbies. Maybe a lot of people found mechanical keyboards as a hobby. So there's that. These 20s roaring in the wrong way. Well, if you think about the 20s of a century ago, they were not that different if you think about it. The 20s of a century ago were not that different. They were roaring in all kinds of right and wrong ways as well. right? You had the Great War. Then, you know, 1920s came in. You had a lot of stuff going on in the US. Great Depression later on, right? Yeah. Gerald Juby, what's up? It's been a while. Big fan. Please, you've been here before. How are you doing, buddy? How's it going? Anything new? But yeah, I actually think about that. I'm like, huh. Historically, the 20s are some interesting years in history, just in general. Something about the numbers, perhaps. The cursed decade? In some ways, yeah. In some ways, there's the big ups and downs in those years. Every century, like somewhere in the world. Certainly the case for the 1800s and the 1700s too, actually. Wait, let me think about anything in the 1700s. I can't think of the 1700s like specifically. 1600s for sure. 1500s also for sure. There was like the conquest of Mexico in the in the 1500s. Yeah, that's right. 1492 was when they came to America. And then 1521 was when they conquered Mexico. The Spaniards, specifically. Oh, sorry. That got... I don't know why that got... The 40s of the century are gonna suck? Who knows? Who knows? Captain Mike. Interestingly enough, the 40s... At least in the past 3 centuries, the 40s have had wars. Big wars. Which is, at least in the US. 1848, you had the Mexican-American War, if I recall. And then, of course, 38 through 45, through 44, through 45, 44, 45. So you had the Second World War. So, yeah. Interestingly enough. Anyway, work has been kicking me in the butt, but I'm done with my projects. I'm good for a week. Oh, I'm glad you're at least having some respite from that. And the week after is refresher week, so we're off for that week. Wait, so you're off for this remainder of the week, and then you're off for the next week? Oh, that's great. Oh, so you're in a good spot now. Oh, finally, right? That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you're through it at least. That's a good feeling. So I'm degenning for a bit. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, you need to recuperate. You know, you need to spend some time to just relax and take it easy. Yeah. Two-week vacay, yeah. It's basically like a spring break. It's like that odd and long spring break that you kind of never had in a way. Like you do have, but you never really had. Like, you know, like in college or like in like high school. I don't even know if you did. But some people did have 2 weeks. Some people had 1 week for spring break. But it's like, for a working person, having 2 weeks in the middle of the spring is kind of like, whoa. Pretty nice. I mean, gotta use your PTO in that sense, but yeah. In this case, I think you have it off. Somewhat. That's sweet. How's life been? Life's been interesting, to say the least. It's been good, though. I have to say, like, I mean, let's see. Considering that we've just been busy the past few months we haven't caught up. It was busy. Like, I would say, like, December was kind of miserable. I was just super busy. January was also pretty busy. And then I think starting February, things started to get a little bit kind of more relaxed for me, like a little bit easier, slash like trying to get the hang of things again in a more relaxed manner, kind of like trying to get adjusted to a few changes. And yeah, also kind of like you, like post big deadlines, that kind of stuff. I had some big deadlines in January. And then yeah, February was sort of like a month where I was trying to like get some stuff together, but it was a bit more relaxed. And then March, like this month, has been all right. I mean, I've had some time off because like in my case, like I am currently in grad school, so I did get like a week, quote unquote, off. I still had some work, but it was, you know, not as big of a commitment, but you know. So I had some time off, a little bit of time off in a way, like, or just to like relax a little bit. But things are kind of getting busy again, and so it's not like I'm not. So it's still a busy time, but I would say more than like February, let's say, but not as bad as like 2-3 months ago, like in January, when I was just like really just barely trying to get by. Like my sleep schedule was really bad. Right now it's like kind of getting there. I'm like transitioning into this bad loop of sleep schedule and trying to get like a certain amount of work done, you know. Are we close to being done with grad school? No, I'm not. No, I'm not close to that yet. I'm like, you could say I'm like halfway through. So that means I still have a few years to go, probably. At least a couple years, I would say. That's being optimistic, I think. A couple of years literally is an optimistic promise. So yeah, I would say anywhere from 2 to 3 years maybe. Which that will put me well into my. That'll put me in at a different perspective in my life, I think. At that point, a few years will go by like that, though. I do agree. Once the internet dies and the zombies come, we all move to the keyboard compound in Mexico while we're sitting around the barrel fires and you're recreating analog Twitch for us. You'll be glad you've collected all these boards to recycle bills and entertain your followers. I feel like if we have zombies to fight against, we will be using our beloved keyboards as potential weapons or shields to protect ourselves. So maybe we'll just smelt them and recycle them into working tools of survival. You probably won't get all your group buys yet by the time you're done with grad school. You know, if you think about it that way, you're probably right. If you think about it that way, you're probably right. I think the whole, I mean, it's particularly like GMK group buys, right? It's like hard to see yourself through them because they just take so long now. You're right. Gotta talk with my team leader. I have 6 weeks of annual leave that I haven't used. Peaches, 6 weeks of annual leave? And you're not using it? Why? You know, after I worked for a bit and I came back to school, I pledged myself that if I'm getting a certain amount of time off, I'm gonna take the time off. It's not worth working the whole year. It's not worth it. It's not worth my mental health, my emotional health. It's not worth my misery working all year and not taking at least 2 or 3 weeks off a year, at least. And that's like the bare minimum. So, bunker up in Jax's skiff. Oh boy. At least there will be, hopefully there's electricity there. There might be ice cream, right? And we'll have some extra keyboards, potentially. Who knows? By then. Anyway, Reborn says I have my draft due tomorrow for my dissertation. Damn, dude, your draft is due tomorrow? Oh my god, that is nerve-wracking. I I am somewhat jealous and not jealous at all, because draft for your dissertation also means you have to eventually defend, and that is nerve-wracking too. I get very, very anxious myself with presentations. I really do panic quite a bit with presentations. It's not that I'm a bad presenter, I just have I have like stage fright. I just get nervous about it. So, but it's not that I'm bad at it though. I know it's not that I'm bad. It's more like I just have to do it, like have to get through it. So I just kind of get nervous about it. But that's kind of always been me. Like that's just part of me. Like it's just always been part of me being like that. That said, I eventually get through them, but don't enjoy that feeling. The feeling of impending doom, that something big is due, something big is coming, and then I have to like handle it somehow. It gets me very anxious. It ain't even close to be done in my opinion. I defend in mid-May. Oh, I mean, I know what it means to be turning in a draft for your dissertation on March 30 or 31st or whatever, and then defending in May. I know that. Like I've seen a lot of past PhD students that I've known go through that, but you know, yeah. My code thus far is pretty bulletproof. That's great. Explain my result, thinking of everything stressful. Yeah, I feel that. Could you pretend you're on Twitch? I kind of do in a way. Like I kind of pretend like I'm talking to people who are, well, that I partially know and partially don't know, that partially know what I'm talking about, partially don't know what I'm talking about. Because, I mean, in a way, when I'm doing builds here on Twitch with you guys, I am sort of conversing with some of you who have been around for a while, or like know what I'm talking about all the time, most of the time, and some of you who haven't, who are new, who are asking like questions that are more typical of beginners, or people who might just not know a certain context. Not everybody is an expert, right? You need to know how to explain things for both sides in that crowd. So yeah, in a way it's quite similar to doing like a stream. Yeah. Usually the first minute of presenting is the most stressful, then I relax, it goes pretty well for me. I see. And yeah, I would say, yeah, the opening is definitely a mood setting. It's a tone and mood setting minute. It's so crucial. Like if you screw up that first few minutes, like minute or two, like that intro slide or that first section, it can get really rocky. That's true. It sets the tone for the rest of the talk. But I mean, it's the way I feel. Like, let's say if I came to a build and I had like parts that were not working, like a PCB that doesn't work, or like I didn't have the parts that I needed, that would be bad news, right? So it would be similar to that. Yeah. I mean, although at least in terms of presenting like a dissertation or a defense for against a committee that supposedly knows what you're talking about, it's a lot more nerve-wracking because, well, they can question your content in a very direct way. So that's that there's also that. Yeah, just talking to funny text on the screen with cold colors. Yeah, kind of. Imagine sandwiches and Froge's T-wording in Yes. If I need to get a little worried if I see concerned Froge in chat, right? Mr. One Drunk Man. If I see someone say concerned Froge, not very T-word, I need to be like I would be on edge. Concerned Froge, not very T-word. If someone said that, or like kind of like showed that face, I would have to be like, oh shit. Anyway, the first section for me are proofs and more conceptual. Oh, I see. Yeah, if you're doing a lot of theory, I'm sure that's when it gets pretty. Oh yeah, that's pretty rough actually, because your fundamentals, it's like first principle stuff. It definitely reminds me a lot of like when I was doing physics, a lot more physics and a lot more theory based stuff. Although it's the same here, I still do have to do kind of like proofs and similar things like that. Still do, but probably to a slightly lesser extent these days. Well, getting the results feels like the home stretch. Yeah, I mean, if you already have them and the figures are there, you know that it's just a matter of showing it. It's a show and tell there. Whereas the theoretical part obviously is going to be difficult because you have to justify everything, make it sound logical and reasonable. So yeah, I can see that. He proves it with a passion, says the guy who is a nuclear physicist. That's a career path you chose, my friend. In academia specifically. Can only blame yourself there. Can you explain why imaging method X is not very T-word? that would a question like that, like substitute T-word for something else, would definitely be it's a very daunting question because it's open-ended enough, but it's also asking for a very specific thing. Like they are obviously, like whoever asked that question is looking for a very specific answer, but the nature of the question is very open-ended, so it trips you up. That is a concerned Froge moment right there. When I have questions about something in the team conference, I just go exclamation income tax. Obviously, no response. Hola, Relámpago, the Gentrifier. How are you? ¿Cómo estás? Hello, my name is Lightning. I mean Diego keywords. I mean Diego. My name is Diego. Oh my gosh. Imagine if something like that happened where I like confused my internet alias self to something like, you know, like in that professional setting where I need to like do something like that. That would be pretty funny. Giving credibility to proofs being horrible. Over the summer I spent 2 months doing one proof with my boss who was a PhD in math from Berkeley. We were struggling. Yeah, I mean, when you're at that level, it's also the fact that you are doing the proofs also means that it's being assigned to you because other people would have not done it. That's the whole point of being a PhD student, at least in the US. So I mean, or everywhere. You're trying to do this thing that nobody else has done, right? Like that's the whole point. Like that's what they want from you, which is kind of ridiculous. Like the expectations are high and difficult, and that's why if anybody tells me like you want to go to grad school, like they want to go to grad school, specifically like a research-based profession or academic in nature, it's like you gotta really like it, and or at least you just gotta be ready to meet these expectations that may be somewhat unrealistic at first. It's not impossible, actually. It's actually just a matter of patience and grit. Just have to get through it. But if you can't handle that, like even that like basic step where you just have to like put in the time, then it's gonna be a rough path. I may start a stream. Can you show the keyboard case, please? Oh yeah, it's right there. It was camouflage with dust mat. Yeah. It is black after all. So. Yeah, so this is like apparently the Starry Night color coding for the case. So it's like black coated, kind of like has this like textured look, and then it has these little white sparkles in the coating itself. So it's like Starry Night. And then the rest of the case is actually pretty simple. Kind of like what you can see is probably what you can expect. But I mean, I'll show off the case later once I get through this part. proof was for this fancy source that the government wants to build, cost billions, but they haven't proved that you can simulate the source. I see. Wow. That's pretty crazy, Reborn. I mean, if successful, that's a very career-defining thing. It's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Diego, you never get prototypes to review? I do get prototypes, but they are definitely less frequent. Like, I get more customer builds than I get prototypes in general. So in general, I'll be building keyboards on behalf of other people than I will be building prototypes. I think you would probably see more prototype content from the people who are doing it a lot more actively, like Apiary, Nathan, Teja, Alex. And then on YouTube, you get a lot of, also actually Andy Wen also gets a lot of prototypes, I think. And then there's Shoobs. He also gets a lot of like prototype kind of related stuff. Sometimes Simon, I think, gets a lot of stuff like that too. I get some, but I don't get like too many. I would say it's like somewhere in the middle. Which for me, I don't mind either way because I treat them all like regular builds. But I do get prototypes. I mean, people have seen them. It's not that I don't get them. Yeah, I've gotten like TGR, Tomo, Monoke, Kohaku. You know, there's a lot. It's like Salvation. You know, like Equinox XL, Zenith. Yeah. Etc. etc. Well, stressful at times, it feels fulfilling. Yeah, that's good, dude. Reborn, that's actually awesome. I mean, I honestly think if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. Even if it's a little bit agonizing in the process. I mean, that's unavoidable regardless of whatever you do, right? Hopefully what you choose to do is something that you're happy with. Are you into some of the newer coatings we have seen GZ Prime ask, or will you always have a place for Ano? Oh, I see. I think generally speaking, I have a preference for anodizing. I think for me, at least in my heart, where I do like coating, like for example, like the matrix coating that we see here, is anything that Ano is not able to achieve, I am obviously more biased towards coating, like Cerakote or the Matrix Lab, like electrostatic powder coat or whatever, because it's stuff that just you can't get into the same amount of consistency in Ano. So like certain colors are nice and flat and very like consistent in all kind of lighting. It's only doable like with coating and like things like that. So like, yeah, like for example that like Sesame or McFlurry colorway that we've seen from Matrix, or like that sort of like creamish sort of color like the tiramisu that we saw, or like the like that kind of like those tones. I think it's super hard to get that in, or impossible maybe to get like in Ano, right? So for those, I am 100% for like a coat based stuff. But I mean, for me, it's gonna be it's all dependent on whether I want that build to be themed after a certain thing. So if it were themed, then I will 100% pick the right color over anodizing. Yeah. Vertex angle, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so yeah, I would say that Ano is great, but I mean, and the standard stuff is awesome. Like, I think it's hard to go amiss with a lot of the Ano stuff that's available. Not to mention, some places offer so many options for anodizing too. Like, I mean, technically you can achieve a lot of different colors. The only problem is consistency over production level batches, which means quantity and quality. to a certain quality standard, which is pretty tough. That elevates the process like many-fold, and if that does not seem reliable, then I'll definitely choose anything over anodizing. Anything else. But yeah, no, I am a big fan of some of the stuff that we've seen. Like the Bear 65, I remember, had this really gorgeous like blue color. Obviously like those Matrix Lab stuff that we've seen, also really nice. Some of the E-coat stuff is also pretty good. Like E-white is it's honestly a very cool color. As far as like, it's simple, it's just white. You can achieve that with Cerakote as well, but you know, anodizing can never do white, right? And having like a nice pure white is, in the metallic case, is pretty cool. Like if you theme it right, like if you put, you know, the right keycaps for it, or people like think of it as like, oh my god, E-white kind of looks cheap or whatever, but I like E-white. I think it just works for certain looks. So it's like I would probably always have something like E-white-ish in my collection if I wanted to have variety. E-white is awesome. My Mode 65 is E-white and it pops with any keycaps. Yeah, that's the thing. Like a pure white color, it really works with so many things. And it's very different from having a silver or even like MAO. Like MAO like application is also like very different. And the feeling is different, like the texture of it is different, the surface texture. So yeah. You can't achieve that like glossy sort of look that E-white has. Like it's like a semi-gloss, rather. I like some of this very flat colors we've seen, particularly Sunset Boulevard. Oh yeah, so you know the Sunset Boulevard. I mean, there's that pink one. Is it K2? K2, is that the pink from Norbauer? That pink is so nice, so nice. And some of the other pink like cases that I've seen, like from like Cerakote, like the bazooka pink sort of tone, those are good too. I've seen. Wait a second. I need to put the. I'm not used to using foam, as you can see, so I forget that I need to put the foam before. Is your keyword cable Cerakote? This is, I believe this is powder coated. This is from Cable Mod. So cablemod.com, I think store.cablemod.com. They have a configurator and you can actually see what you can get. And they have several options for their connector finishes. They have anodizing and I think powder coating. So yeah. Would you mind zooming into loop stat wire? Yeah, sure. Let me just put it on, and then I can show you. Actually, why don't I show you like this here? K2 is white, Sunset is pink. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I meant the pink one. Yeah. Oopsie. So let's see. Captain Mike, are you here? Okay. So as you can see, my heavy application of lube comes in on certain parts. Wait, also, is this all the way down? Yeah, there. Okay, sorry. So my heavy applications of lube and on the wire are normally gonna be at the tip of the wire. So this gap right here, this is where it ticks. When you hear ticking, when you like tap the key here and you hear the tick, it's from this edge right here. This bend area is fine. This is nice and tight. This is snug normally. It's right this gap right here that normally ticks. Yeah. And then I lube a little bit more, maybe like on the L bend over here, because sometimes if this clip gets a little loose when you insert the wire, it can also shift a little bit. So I put a little bit of lube just to fill in that gap, but it's not a lot. Actually, it's still about the same as the rest of the wire. But where you want to really focus your application of lube is gonna be is gonna be towards this area of the wire right here. This top area of the wire. I mean, obviously surrounding the wire, but more so at the top right here. This like last portion of the wire is where you want the most lube. Yeah. Oop, sorry. Zeth, hey Diego, nice to see you're building a Matrix ME. Built mine replicating the 8X V3 gasket mountain and points, and it's nice and soft. Oh, interesting. I actually don't know what exactly you might be referring to as far as the points. So I'm kind of curious. I'm actually curious how it differs to like whatever their default might be. But that's good. It's good to know that you're enjoying it. I mean, that's the thing that matters the most. P-foam yet again. Does this mean check an ironically T-word? I'll leave that to Peaches. The mods have say on things that I don't necessarily need to have a say on. I don't need to concern myself over such matters. Okay. There are 3 screws per gasket mounting, and you don't have to use all of them. Yes, yeah, I'm aware of that. I did a previous build, so the one that I recently uploaded on YouTube, it's like a Matrix ME with stock Polias. That one, I just mounted all 3 screws for all of the mounting positions because it was like, you know, it had all the foam and all that, and I was just like, oh, try it with the default first. And it seemed okay. At least for that tactile build. Maybe for linear it's different. Maybe I want something a little bit more, sort of somewhat more like just different. So yeah, if you don't mind sharing, I could definitely try something else. Is it all the foam on? We are probably gonna use all the foam. We're gonna use plate foam, this foam, and then the rubber mat. So 2 pieces of foam and the mat. That's basically what we're gonna do today. The rubber mat. It's like the rubber mat is similar to like it's kind of like the feeling of like the Rama dampener, kind of similar to that, I guess, like the internal one. Man, the client has a foam fetish? I mean, nothing wrong, honestly. It's just, everyone just has preferences. And also, I actually think using the foam might be a beneficial thing in the case of like, because, you know, in this case, like the client decided to use stock switches, which is something that they're okay with. And so I personally think that if you're using a slightly less modded switch in general, like anything that's either stock or close to stock, or like you even lube lightly and such, it might be better to use the foam just to sort of mask a little bit of the imperfections that you might find. So it might actually be for the benefit of the build, at least in my opinion. But that said, you know, different strokes for different folks, you know? Drew trying to get it out of his system. Nice. It's a budget board aimed at the masses, and lots of foam is the trend right now. Yeah, the foam is definitely a trend. So, and well, you know, if it's included, I think a lot of the psychology around the foam kind of meta, so to speak, these days, it's that, well, right? Look, like as a general customer, like if I'm a general consumer, and I'm purchasing like a keyboard kit, and I see the foam inside of the kit, I'm like, the maker included it for a reason, right? Is what I would think as a general consumer. So I would be like, oh, so I have to use it. Like, why would I not use it if they included it? You know, like they say it's optional, but they obviously have it there for a reason. So I think that's the general consumer perspective. It's like if you include it, it's very likely that most people will use it. And so that sort of has, like, you know, like in the case of like the Jelly Epoch was, oh, what was the song just earlier? Shoot, I missed it. Can I go back? Hold on. Oh, it was Lower Brinstar from Gaterops, and then I think they have an album called with it's like from their like Samus and Chill album from Game Chops. They have like a Metroid theme album that's kind of like lo-fi. Yeah. Alright. So it's like the Brinstar theme. If you played Metroid, I did play Metroid, so I know, but yeah. This theme is super recognizable if you've played any Final Fantasy, actually. This is why foam should always be an add-on. I do agree. Poop Killer. I do agree that I think it being an add-on is a good way to sort of like to not imply that it's a necessity, but at the same time to provide the option that it's, you know, because you're making it, it's there to use. Also, these switches actually sound fine. These are very smooth. They just sound stock, but they're pretty smooth. Oh, I'm forgetting. Can't forget. We're still gonna use more foam, so let's put this on. One thing that I have to say I'm not a huge fan of about using the foam, you know what it is? What if I have to go back and redo stabs? Just in case, you know? I have to take all this off. I have to take all of this off. It's just like, oh man. It's like, it feels like I'm reverting so many steps in the process, right? It's like the, oh. It's like the crap. I made a big mistake. Install some switch tripods and KBD fans, stam foam pads. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's like so much more too. Like, it's not even the end of it as far as foam is concerned. Like, there's so many things now that people have like come up with. I'm like, wow. It's like, I didn't even know you could do all that and still fit. Like, you can still manage to fit all the parts in the space that you're given to build. Just like, huh. It's like, huh. Okay. It's like, there's still space for more? They're just playing to their audience? Yeah, exactly. That's definitely a demand thing, right? Like, a lot of people enjoyed the foam like in the Jelly Epoch and other boards, and so that's why. Level Blue, hello, welcome first of all. Hi, Curious, you offer keyboard fixing services. I got an NK65 when I tried to screw in, the screw post cracked. I mean, I can try helping, but at that point you could probably figure it out in the sense that, like, if the screw post cracked, did it crack in half and just come off? Because you could probably put it together with like super glue, to be honest, if you still have the pieces. Did it get destroyed completely? That, like, you know, what happened exactly? I assume this is like is this like the entry edition? But again, this is why I don't like foam. It gets like pinched. And it gets a little finicky here. Let's try to not pinch it too much. But yeah, Level Blue, I would ask if you, like, how's the damage and like how bad is it, and do you think you can try at least troubleshooting it for yourself? I mean, I'm definitely willing to help you though. That's not a problem. Just wondering what you've tried and what you think you can try doing. Anyway, I think they know the general public will like foam sound more. Yeah, I mean, that's why it's been added, right? Percent Studio also includes a giant piece of tape too. Interesting. People want a T-word which used to be reserved for Topria. Oh boy. Is there no warranty on the NK65? I'm pretty sure that you can definitely address issues if they're reasonable, yeah. I think the only thing might probably be like if you did certain modifications, you're probably not allowed to return it. I mean, I'm sure you could contact them and troubleshoot with them, like with novel keys. I'm pretty sure they're not. They're nice enough to help you. Yeah. Anyway, that said, I built with the following. I'm actually let me copy that down. Try something like that. And if we don't like it, we can always add. No side gaskets, all top gaskets, but no middle screw on middle gasket. Bottom left gasket has left gasket only and left and middle screw. Bottom middle gasket, left gasket only and left and middle screw. Bottom right gasket, both gaskets and all 3 screws. Interesting. Okay, I'll note that for now and kind of go from there. Thanks, Zeth, for sharing. It sounds more complicated than it really is. Yeah, I'm sure it's. I just need to parse that sentence into pieces. That's all. It's like micro cracks for the entry level board. Yeah, I'm willing to pay for the help, don't want to further damage it. I tried the P-foam and tape mod and I suspect it might be too thick so the pressure's too great. That is possible if you're using both, and it depends on the thickness of your foam. So I would say stuff it less, or actually try not to even, and see if the screws are... First of all, a crack is okay as long as the... I actually don't remember. The problem is I don't remember if the entry edition had... Did the entry edition have threaded screws? If it has threaded screws, like the threaded inserts, it should be okay even if the plastic gets a little crack on the sides. Like a crack is okay, but it's a problem if it splits. So I would suggest, yeah, so you can always use like super glue. There's like the plastic surgery super glue. There's a few other like brands that you can use, and those will be pretty good to binding on plastic. So sometimes what I do recommend is like, I mean, I'm just gonna grab a keycap here just to kind of exemplify it, or if that doesn't work, maybe this one helps. So like, you know, like the stems here are round, right? So like the inserts are gonna be similarly round. So I would kind of like, grab some of the super glue and basically like kind of like put it around, like sort of like spread it around the base so that you're basically joining the two halves together and also preventing it from splitting again. From the outside, not from the inside, because otherwise, you know, you're gonna put glue where the screw is supposed to go, which is not a good idea. Otherwise, your screw might stay there forever, and that's a pretty bad idea. You just want to do it on the outside where like it's just the sleeving, the plastic sleeving of it. So yeah, I would suggest first addressing the split insert first, or the split, you know, the part of the screw there first, and then seeing how it goes. If that doesn't help, then yeah, sure, like, I mean, you can always like DM me on like Discord or something and send me pictures, or post them to our help channel in our Discord, !Discord, to join. And I'm sure people can also help you, like, so that you don't have to send it or, you know, pay extra money for that. As it is, I don't think you're risking like a lot of damage or anything, as long as you're just being conscious and careful. Yeah, I don't think it'll be like a difficult fix or anything like that. Yeah. I don't think it was a brass thread insert, it was all plastic. I just don't remember what the entry edition looks like on the inside. I think that's what I just don't remember right now, off the top of my head. I think that's what I would want to check. I Thank you. No problem. No problem. Yeah, let us know how it goes. Or if not, just try some stuff, and you can always ask for help. It's not a rush, so try to get through the problem, like, you know, slowly. No need to rush it. No need to feel too pressured. I'm sure it's a solvable problem. It doesn't sound like it's like completely broken or anything. Is there a trend of using stock inks? Nathan built a board with it too? I don't know. Maybe? I mean, in my case, it's just the client was like, yeah, stock inks are fine. Oh, sorry about that. Tap the mic. Yeah, so in my case, the client was just like, yeah, stock inks are cool. I'm good with it. So I was like, all right, sounds good. I think it's just coincidence. Probably just coincidence that it's happening that way. Is these the box stem inks? No, these are regular V2 inks. Actually, the photo I found might be the V2 Aloe edition. Oh, I see. Yeah. I missed the chance T word. I mean, you are still here, so. Actually, sounds pretty good though. You can't T-word today, it's foam day. It is. We have a lot of foam today. Bless you, Klein. Moving to bed, see you in a bit. Sounds good. Take it easy. Diego, do you prefer 28mm or 40mm focal length? Oh, ooh, that's a good question. It depends on what I'm using it for, Peaches. I mean, obviously, if it's for like portraits, or if it's for like some kinds of like street or outside photography, I do prefer a longer length for that like close up look. So like the full frame equivalent is pretty nice for that. But I mean, like obviously for like landscape or anything like that kind of like wide angle view, it's nice to have a shorter focal length. That said, it depends on the body too, right? Like if I'm obviously using a crop, probably more likely to use shorter length, like 30mm over like 50. So yeah, it kind of depends. I want to call for GR3 or GR3X. Yeah, I would think. I think 40 might be more versatile. Actually, what's your film size? Are we doing like a regular? Oh, I see. Point and shoot. I mean, yeah. If it's not an actual full frame, I'll just go. I'll use a wider one probably, even if you do have to deal with a little bit of the distortion. Yeah, I think it might just be more useful to you, but I don't know. It depends on what you want to shoot, Peaches. So 20. Okay, it's an APS-C sensor. Okay, then go 28. Go 28. Don't do 40. I think 40 is gonna limit yourself a lot. I think it's probably gonna be easier for you to move closer with the 28 than the 40 with an APS-C sensor. Yeah. It's easier. It's much easier rather than having to shoot from afar because your focal length is too long. Like a 50 feels very long on an APS-C. Like at that point, you're probably getting closer to like macro. I mean, not quite, but you know. Do you have a personal board that you're really looking forward to this year? There's a few boards that I haven't built, Zeth, that I am looking forward to building. But I just haven't had the chance to build. I've been really wanting to build my Zenith. I've been wanting to build my Dolphin. And both of them I haven't built. Because, yeah, I just haven't had time. Or, I haven't had time for my own builds. I have only had time for like, the client work I've been doing. So, yeah. I think we're doing regular caps lock today. Few as in you can count in one hand? Yeah, I can count them in one hand. It's just I just haven't had time to get to them. Yeah. Have a question. I just received a custom keyboard, but my C keycap is not working. Oh, I see. That's why you're. What do I do? I have no clue what to do. Okay. So first step is to know why it's not working. So I think the first step that you want to do is, are you able to disassemble it yourself? Do you have screwdrivers to disassemble it? That's the first step. You want to take it apart. So take it apart just to get the case out, like get the PCB or the inside part out of the case, and then you want to test. You want to plug in your PCB because the PCB works in general except for that one key, right? Grab some tweezers or a piece of wire, anything that's metallic, and short the two for the C letter. The two little metallic pins or that like part. If it works, then it probably is the switch that's not working, and all you have to do is just replace the switch. So you desolder your switch, or if it's hot swap, you take it out and then you replace it. Easy. If the PCB is not working, meaning that it's the brains of the keyboard that isn't digitizing your input and sending it as an electrical signal to the computer, then you have to work on the PCB as the problem. So it might not be the switch itself that's the issue. Considering it was already built though, it probably is that it was working. And all you need to do is likely just replace the switch. That's very likely what's gonna be the case, but you never know. The only way to know is to check for yourself, Mr. Nice. I hope that helps. I can't wait until the Salvation TGR Tomo ship this year. Oh yeah, the Tomo I'm excited for because I'm excited for the color actually. I ordered the Tomo particularly because I was excited about the olive color ano for those boards. Like I know that it was available for like the K and stuff, but you know, I was like, oh, I really want to see this Tomo in this olive colorway. So I got it in that olive tone, like green. So I'm pretty excited to see that. I mean, the Tomo itself was a pretty fun, like a nice board to use. I do think I personally did have some qualms with it in the sense that like I didn't really like the circular badge really didn't do much for me, but I mean it's cool. Like it's like all right. It's just a makes the F row slightly more compressed. Sure, aesthetically speaking, it's like whatever though for me. But the board itself was nice. I mean, it worked. It typed well. It sounded fine. Yeah. I appreciate that it is hot swap, so would I be able to switch keys from a different letter to C? Yes, you can absolutely do that. If it is hot swap, you can absolutely do that. Do you have a tool to remove your switches? If you don't have something like this, you can use something like an example. Very simple is grab 2 screwdrivers that have like, you know, any screwdrivers, and you can just kind of like press the little tabs here, you know, and then like lift it up, lift the other one up, and then take out the switch. Very easy. You can do it many ways. You don't need a screwdriver if you don't want to scratch your plate. You can do it with plastic, like a plastic spudger, for example. You can do it with anything that's hard enough to press the switch, the little switch. What is that? Like the little flaps. I'm now in bed. Nice. Got it. Let me try it. I do have a keycap remover. Sick. Great. All right. Good luck. Let us know how it goes. Ooh, sorry about the shaking. Have you built any customs for people you know aren't in the hobby? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I absolutely have. In fact, some of the recent builds that I did actually are for people who they were like built as gifts for people who are not in the hobby at all, but this person was making gifts for that person, for those people. So I've been doing a couple builds like that. I've also done builds for, I mean, there was a big commission that I did in 2020 with Capital One Bank. In that one, I think I explained it before. If you didn't catch it, it's fine. It was basically a commission where I basically built like 10-12 boards for a giveaway sort of like event. Like it was like for a conference, and they were giving away the company was giving away like 10-12 keyboards to random participants, like a sweepstakes, and these people were completely unacquainted to keyboards. I mean, most of them, a lot of them, and so I had to like, you know, sort of like consult them for some preferences, kind of introduce them to it, and that kind of stuff. That was kind of interesting, pretty time consuming, but it was fun. Yeah, I've done boards like I've done builds like that, yeah. KD75s, yeah, it was a lot of KD75s, yeah, those were all the KD75s I built. A lot of them off stream, actually most of them, almost all of them, with like alpacas, T1s, and then I had like an assortment of keycap sets available. The whole idea of it was not just to give away keyboards that were already pre-built, it was actually to consult with every person who wins. I pretty much had a phone call, like a Zoom call or like a video call with every single person who won, and I had to talk to them through their preferences. It was like, oh, do you want like a linear switch, feels like this? Do you want a tactile switch, feels like this? I'm gonna be lubing them, so this is how it works. And then it was like, oh, so I have these colorways for Keycaps says that we purchased. You can choose this bright one. At the time it was like there was like PBT Vaporwave or PBT White and Black. There was like ePBT, you know, beige. So like they had options to pick from. They could choose like the color of the case, that kind of stuff. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. Oh my god, I have a C keycap. Nice. Oh, you use the V. You use the V for the C. So yeah, all you have to do now is replace that the one that didn't work. Yeah. So after you replace that one, it will be good. Can you make it sound like they had typers feel? Fortunately I didn't get anyone who was like very demanding or anything, but I actually had someone refuse the price for tax reasons. Because I think like for certain people, like you can't technically like because it was part of the sweepstakes, but technically you get like it's like accepting a gift of a certain value, and I think you technically can get taxed for it in certain circumstances. So someone was like, no, I don't want it. I was like, okay, you know, moving on to the next winner then. Yeah, I like Nixies and VSB die subs. Yeah, are you associated with Capital One anyway? How did they find you through that cool commission? They just reached out to me. Yeah, they just reached out to me in that case. Yeah, they just found me. You know, they obviously like have a team that knows about keyboards, and they reached out to me at some point, and they're like, hey, you know, my name is blah from this company, and we want to reach out about, you know, this work that we're doing, and you know, you seem like the right person to do it, and so that's kind of like where the conversation went. I mean, this was like you know, 2 years ago now, so yeah. What's your opinion on Durock palm switches? Oh, they're pretty nice. Durock palm switches are pretty nice. They're very, they're really smooth actually. They generally are like, they have that long pole stem, so they're gonna have that more prominent sort of sound when they hit the bottom. So they're pretty smooth though. You don't need to lube them heavily at all. I think even the light lube is good. I think you don't even need to use switch films for a lot of them, like cobalt palms or Durock palms. I think even without switch films you're okay. But they're very nice switches in my opinion. Personally, yeah, I like them. I actually do have them in one of my builds. So yeah, I do like them, and I've built them in several other boards and people have liked them, so yeah. Didn't know you had that collaboration. Yeah, I had to keep it under the, I had to kind of keep it like shush for at least until the event was like happening. So yeah, but that happened mostly off stream because it was like a lot of builds that were repetitive and I just had to do in a certain time period. So that was like a big amount of work that I just had to do kind of like off the camera. Also, Shoobs, just noticed, thank you so much for the 8 months. Wait, you've been subbed for 8 months? Shoobs has been subbed for 8 months and I had no idea. What? I guess Mr. Shoobs doesn't come by stream too often to trigger the little thingy, but welcome, Mr. Shoobs. Thank you so much for the 8 months. Wow. And also, I hope you're doing well. How are you doing? If you're still here. I found out the problem? Oh, you did? What's the problem? What was the problem? Was it just a bent pin? It was probably a bent pin, wasn't it? There we go. See? Magic. I guessed it right. How could I possibly know? Must be magic. Nice. I'm glad it's nothing, not a big deal. So you can just put that switch back in right where it was. Nice, nice. Magic, yeah. Hey, Ninewalker, what's up, buddy? How's it going? Oh, Mr. Nice. How nice of you. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Alright, we have all of our switches in. Win keyless, regular caps. Let's move on. Mr. Nice living up to the name though. Imagine if you had no C, then you would be Mr. Niece, like a niece. Mr. Niece. Sorry about the bad jokes. Mr. Knee. I'm glad it was not a big deal though. I mean, it's like sometimes if you don't have the switch that like you're supposed to replace and you just have to wait for like another few days or pay extra for like 10 switches that you don't necessarily have to pay for, it's kind of a pain in the butt. So alright, nice. So I think these are all in pretty well. And we can start soldering. So let's get to that. Have you chosen a keycap set already? I do have a keycap set here. The client sent out GMK Pono to go with it, which should look pretty nice actually. We can try something else if you really want to. But yeah, that's what they sent, so I just kind of was gonna use that. Do you know any site that sells singular switches? Oh, singulars, no. They normally will sell them by packs of 10, or sometimes packs of 35, which is, oh, I know it's a lot, but packs of 10, sometimes they sell them by those, so you can always check. If not, however, you can actually ask around, to be honest. Like sometimes in some like communities, like Discord communities, or like even on Reddit, like you can be like, oh, like does someone have like a switch they could spare? I'll pay you for shipping. You know, I'll pay you like the $4 for first class if you're in the US. I'm not sure how much it might be for like the EU. But you know, yeah, sometimes they do sell them by packs, normally like packs of 10, like whatever's convenient for the vendor. So yeah. All right. Let me just get the fan. No single switches on DigiKeys or Mouser. Well, it depends on the switch, I guess. I think maybe for some Cherry MX stuff or Gateron stuff, maybe they have them on DigiKey or Mouser or whatever. But I don't know if like they would have anything else like that, like, you know, anything JWK or Texi, probably not, or even a lot of the Gateron stuff. Yeah, DigiKey and Mouser should only have Cherry MX, which is pretty, like, you know, it's like the big OEM. But other stuff is gonna be hard. Yeah. My brain defaults to Cherry MX. I mean, that's because, yeah, it's like what we like. Alrighty, it is time to now solder this PCB. Duroc Palm linears? Oh, I see. So I think Duroc Palm linears, there might be some places that sell them by packs of 10. Keeps for All has single switches. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. But that said, you could probably ask around and someone could probably spare a Duroc Palm that they might have, you know. So, yeah, just saying. That's cool though. Did not know that they sold loose single switches. That's pretty convenient if you think about it. Holy crap, that's expensive though. I mean, doesn't it probably scale with units? Do they do something like that where like kind of like, you know, mechanicalkeywords.com I think does that too, or like you buy one, or like one pack, it's like a certain price, and then the more you buy it gets less and less expensive. Big Mike has the best price for NA, for Cherry in NA, right? I think I've seen a few different stores have Cherry MX. I've seen Big Mike, I've seen Keys, I've seen Divinity, I think, also have like Cherry Mix Blacks, for example. But I don't know what the pricing comparison is, ODM. I actually am not entirely sure. You might want to just check, also because, I mean, with, at least with novel keys, you can probably get the 5% off from the promo code, so hopefully that probably sets it apart. But yeah, you'll have to see. Also, like, because taxes too. I think some stores might charge you tax and some stores might not, because taxes will hit based on like whether Nexus has hit them already. Like, it's basically like the system that tracks like vendors' sales in different states. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's basically the thing that works to charge people taxes. So MK.com has decent prices, yeah, assuming you buy a certain number, yeah. I know, for example, some people do buy from MK.com because it's just convenient when you buy a certain amount. They have more obscure switches too? I see. They've also been around for quite some time now, so maybe that's part of why too. Pretex and MX Grays? Oh yeah, I do remember MX Grays, like buying MX Grays from them before. Yeah, I do remember buying MX Grays, like linear grays or tactile grays. Ergo Gray tactile seems kind of lit. I mean, it's the same as like MX Clear, but I mean, it is gray, so. Yeah, they're just MX Clears, but colored gray. More useful for lubing since you can actually see the lube. I guess that's true, yeah. I've heard some people say that like the grays are like more scratchy than clears, but I honestly feel like it's about the same, TBH. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it depends on batches, just like every Cherry MX switch ever. Just probably depends on whether you get lucky with a decent one that's consistent. Alright, I don't think I have any new announcements from vendors. I do have two main announcements though, or three rather. Number one is that GMK Orange Boy on Canon keys is slated to end this week, so if you're looking to purchase that key set, just don't forget, ends this week. Another big news is that Prime Keyboards is back open. Their store reopened as of today, so if you've been waiting to purchase from primekb.com/lightning, you can purchase from them. They sell alpaca, Xerox dabs, and they will eventually be running Meridian again, and they also ran the Night 60 and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, Prime KB is reopened again, so if you've been waiting for them, they're back. Yeah, they also stock Desk Keys products. Prime KB also just good peeps, yeah. Do really like Mr. Holton. Super nice guy. Yeah. Let's see, other news. Oh yeah, Canon Keys stock their PBT 407 set, the Canon Cap set that has a it has like lightish gray or like whitish almost base color with like red cadet legends. Pretty cool set. I recently photographed that with a devastating kill. I did a build with that. So that's in stock now on Canon Keys. Novel Keys also stocked a new key set as of today, called Cherry Blossom. Basically it's a light pink set with, I think it's blue or purple legends. Pretty neat though, pretty cute looking set, softer colors. So if you're into like cherry profile sets like that, that's another one. What else do we have? Novel Keys also stocked a new NK65 entry edition version. I believe it's called Super User. It has these stripes kind of going across it, like accents, and it looks a little bit different from the other editions that have been run. But yeah, that's in stock as well now. Yeah. Have you built any keyboards for any big streamers? I built keyboards for some streamers. I'm not sure, like, if you consider it big or not, but yeah, I mean, I built some boards for some streamers. Some people kind of have stayed kind of more on the quiet side about it, which is fine. But yeah, I built some for streamers, but I wouldn't say anything like huge, like big gamers or like big streamers, like similar to like the ones like Nathan has built for, like probably nothing of that scale. Yeah. Oh, if you don't know who Nathan is, that's like Teha types. I'm very fascinated in the keyboard world. Oh, I see. Yeah. So I mean, keyboards are fun. It's like a DIY scene, base scene, although it's expanded so much in the past few years that like there's a ton of info, a ton of options now. Like there's so many different keyboards like available. Like nowadays, like you can actually expect that there's gonna be some stuff in stock, like from keysets and keyboards and switches and whatnot. And like, yeah, things have become a lot more accessible. There's like so many options. So anyone coming in definitely has like the benefit of that. And yeah, I mean the DIY scene is kind of still there. So like you get to build your own custom keyboard the way you like it. So that's the fun part, in my opinion, at least. I mean, that's kind of part of why I build keyboards for people, is because I do enjoy like the DIY process, or like the, you know, it's like something I make with my own hands, or like I assemble with my own hands, even if it's at first it seems a bit complex, but it's a pretty simple process, right? Like it's like soldering skill wise is pretty minimal, and honestly, like the rest is not like that difficult, but like it's something that I've come to enjoy doing over the years. It's a good way to de-stress. It's fun. You can see the product of your own labor. Yeah, it's good stuff. Soldering is fun. Yeah, I do agree. What is the advantage of solder switches versus hot swap? Yeah, mainly that soldering is fun, and that, you know, you don't have to kind of
Like hot swap does have a durability aspect to it, where like you can only, I mean soldering too actually, like you can only desolder and solder switches a certain number of times because your PCB eventually might, you know, you might eventually cause some problem, but not always the case. I mean, hot swap offers the convenience of hot swapping your switches, but it also, another, like a drawback of hot swap is it fixes your layout. You can't change your layout with hot swap because hot swap sockets have to be placed in certain position and they take up space. So you certain alternative layouts, like especially like in the bottom row or like in some other places, you can't really do anything with it because it's like the sockets end up being too close to each other, so they interfere. So it limits your layouts. Yeah. I think that's probably, yeah, and like flexibility when yanking keycaps, that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely all relevant things that are different about soldered builds compared to hot swap. I think like sound or feel wise, it's pretty much the same, to be honest. Yeah. If you prefer flex, you get more flex with plateless or half plate, which both require solder. Yeah, that's correct also. That is also correct. Yeah. Okay. So the next step from here is to actually put the gaskets. So let me actually try the instructions that Mr. Zeth just shared. Let's see, no side gaskets, all top gaskets, but no middle screw on the middle gasket. All top gaskets, bottom left gasket, left gasket only and left middle screw. Wait, I don't get that. Oh, is it like, oh, I see. So left gasket only and middle screw, bottom middle gasket, bottom middle, left gasket only, and left and middle screw, bottom right gasket, both gaskets on all three screws. I see. Interesting. I'm assuming it's looking at it from this way. So okay, I mean, we're gonna need to put all the gaskets anyway for like here, so I'm gonna just do that. So let's place gaskets now. Looking from the top? Oh, okay, looking from the top. Okay. So all top gaskets, no middle screw. Okay, cool. Let's put all the top ones first on both sides. So the bottom gaskets are mostly supporting the spacebar switch and arrows. Yeah, I see now what you mean. I see what you mean. So basically, you get the empty space for the spacebar section, right? Yeah. Okay, I get it. Basically, it's essentially the same as like top mount with like the Jane plate or something like that. Where you're leaving empty space around the space bars. I think. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. Is there any recommendations for Type-C coiled cables? I've seen a lot of nice ones on Etsy, but wondering if there's a recommended site. There's a lot of different places that sell cables. I mean, I am technically sponsored by Space Cables. There's other options as well, though. There's like Zap cables. There's like Cup cables. There's like Cable Mod that recently sent out some cables, for example. Mr. Konako was here earlier, but although he currently isn't, like, taking a break. There's also like dispatch cables, Mr. Giorin, who also does that. Yeah. So I mean, there's a number of people. Also, you lose some flex with the bottom case film, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true. There's a lot of people who do cables, so quite a few options in the community. So yeah, you can choose from them. Wait, bottom, middle. Oh, okay, so you're talking about left gasket only, so this one. So there's a spacebar switch, but not here. Okay, I get it. All right. Left gasket only and middle and right screw. Oh yeah, okay, I see what you mean. Got it, got it. Anyway, let's put the gaskets for the ones that I did put. Gaskets on the top side, so it's gonna be most of the bottom ones and all the top ones, at least for now. I've decided to go with the 40mm. Long focal length would be easier for me to take photos for keyboards and portraits of Bailey. Okay, yeah, so if you're gonna do keyboards and portraits, then yeah, longer focal length is probably nice, sir. But if you're gonna do anything else, it might restrict you a little bit, just because you just have to get further away from the subject. I mean, that's why a lot of people do 50mm on full frame all the time, right? Because it's just like versatile. Ah, it's not straight. It's left and middle screw since there's no bottom right gasket. Yeah, that's what I thought too. By the way, Deal, you're saved. I was about to redeem to force the typing test to be done with hand but that is disabled. I mean, I know. I disabled it on purpose, if they're right. I know I am saved because I know what I'm doing. I disabled it for a good reason. If you're on a Canon and can use RF mount, many of the new primes can do limited macro. Oh, that's true. Canon is definitely versatile for any, like a lot of the third-party solutions. And a lot of adapters and stuff. Like, it's the most well adapted ecosystem as far as like parts, extraneous parts outside of the Canon ecosystem too. That's why a lot of people choose Canon, but I do like the image fidelity on Nikon for a while. I was a Nikon boy for the longest time. And then I switched to Sony. I tried Canon though. I did try Canon for a bit, which was also fun. I think if I need something wide, I can get my iPhone 12 Pro Max. That is true, yeah, with a small aperture and stuff. Yeah, true. Yeah, you can just use your iPhone. Alright, so I think that's for the gaskets. We omitted the spacebar ones on purpose, basically, which is gonna be assimilating like the top mount. So let's get to the case now. So let's open up the case and go from there. Alright. Hello, Amarade. Hello. How is it going? I am doing well. I hope you are doing well yourself. Rico is like HKV for me. I have a huge crush to the brand. Always wanted one. Nice. Well, that's nice that you're getting one then. In the end, it is which system has the lenses you need and feel natural. Yeah, that is true. I was about to buy a Nikon D90 when I tried a Canon 50D and spoke to me, hence the trip started. Canon also, honestly, the feeling of Canon cameras, like the ergonomics, is so nice on Canon. The ergonomics are pretty nice on Canon. Something I did enjoy when I shot with Canon for a little bit. Yeah, I know, Zeth. I can always add more. It's easier to add than to remove, so yeah. I should also test the PCB before we even put it on. So. Ooh, long boy screws. Let's test our PCB first, though. Oh wait, no, it's not that nice. Here. I tried no middle gasket and all bottom left right gasket, and it bottoms out way too easily. Yeah, I think that would bottom out pretty easily. Yeah, I do agree with that. Alright, let's just go to switch hitter, because it's easier here, just quicker access. Alright. Nice. Everything works, which is good. So let's move on to the next part. You probably want to unplug this for now. We're gonna open up the case. All right, so let's show you what the case looks like. I'll also get rid of this window here. Sorry about the little tap there. I ordered a Keychron Q3 today, abuelita. When they went on sale, nice. I hope you'll like it. It's a TKL one, right? Looked pretty interesting. I mean, it looked like a good deal. 154 for the bare bones kit. But yeah, this is what the inside looks like, guys. So you'll see what it means to use these gaskets and the way it mounts. It's basically like a top mount with a gasket hybrid. It's very interesting. It's a cool board. I do think it's pretty nice. All right, and then this insert, this rubber thing just kind of just slaps right in here. Very simple, and you just screw it with these little guys. Let me find the little screw bag here. Where's the screw bag? Oh, here it is. Okay, so these flat ones work. So I think these are Phillips. Yeah, these are Phillips. Okay. Yes, TK, I got it with the knob and red switches for gaming. Nice. What a gamer. Wait, that's not the right size, is it? Where's the screws for this guy, huh? Do I only have these guys? Hold on. This ain't it. Where are the bigger screws here? Must have missed the bag. Hold on, let me check for the bag. I should have a set of bigger screws. Where's my sound pack screws? If not, I probably have some spare other screws, which I can just provide, which is not a big deal. Oh wait, I think these are slightly thicker than the rest. I think. Let me double check that though. Let's see if these are the right size. I think this is correct though. Nope, that's still too small. Okay, these two are for the daughter board. I know this for a fact. But I should have thicker screws for these guys. Put those aside. These are all for the little plate mounting. Okay. Yeah, I don't have bigger screws for these guys. So I'll just I mean, I could just leave it here, to be quite honest, but I do wanna fix it down. Is that rubber mat heavy for what it is? Oh yeah, it's quite dense. It's quite dense. Screw issue? Just missing screws. Just missing the 4 screws for the rubber mat, which is not a big deal, to be honest. I should have spare screws though, so it's not a big deal. But thought it'd be in the bag. It's not, so yeah, no, I don't see them. So it's alright. Let's see, so these are probably M3s or M2.5s times, I don't know, like 6 millimeters. Let's see if this works. Yo, Mr. Dennis, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Okay, that is too long. So let's change this to something smaller. What games do you play? Oh, emo doesn't work? What do you mean the emo doesn't work? It worked. Okay, so I need something shorter than that. I have a lot of screws, so I just need to find the right ones. Alright. This might do. These might work. Let's check. Emails don't immediately load on the web chat, and even in chat arena immediately on connect. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little time, yeah. Aha! This will work perfectly. Perfect. Honestly, only need 2, but I have a lot, so I'll just provide 4. What color is that? This is, I think this is Starry Night, from what people have told me. I believe this is Starry Night. Alright, cool. We have the screws now. So when you do a keyboard biz, you end up buying a lot of screws. Like, I've bought screws for different reasons, replacing people's screws and my own, and losing screws, and so that's what you end up having, just a bunch of screws, just in case. You never know when you're gonna need them. Alright, time to put this one on. How nice! Looks perfect too. It fits right in. Fits perfectly. I'm doing good. How are you, Diego? I'm doing okay, Dennis. Been busy, but doing okay. I think I'll say I'm doing fine. I'm not doing poorly. I'm not doing amazing. I think it's okay. Just doing fine. Getting by day by day, dude. Not much, to be honest. Alright, nice. This is nice and fixed. Great. We can put the daughter board if we want as well. But yeah, just hanging in there, dude. Just hanging in there. I feel that about the same here, just so busy. Yeah. Like, busy is one thing, but it's also kind of like my mood's been kind of like right around the middle. It's like not elated, but also not like depressed or annoyed or miserable or anything. Just like okay, it's just getting by. All right, cool. So that's that. Ooh, Bakabot, hello. What's up? Alright, so now the way this works, guys, is it's like a gasket mount, but instead of just finishing here like this, you actually have to fix it in place. And the way that works is you take these bad boys. So you take these bad boys, right? You're getting them all out here. So these bad boys basically just go at each of the mounting positions here. So like this. Oops. Like basically it holds the gasket together against the top case. And you just grab the fixing screws here. So in the case of, you know, here you can start from the middle. And then you can basically pick how many screws, to use. You can pick only the middle, you can do the left, the right, you can do, you know, but basically you can pick the number of screws that goes onto the piece. Basically, you just have to be mindful of the alignment here, and once everything's all put together, we will tighten the screws and whatnot. But yeah, that's how it works. Is this needless complicated? It seems needless complicated. Maybe. I mean, it works. It is what it is. But needless complicated is like the definition of Matrix Lab sometimes, don't you think? It's like right in line with the way the design is in general. My 1.2 OG would like to have a word, but the 1.2 OG is basically replicating, like, I mean, a lot of their older keyboards were basically like OTD, like, you know, like it was just like top mount, that's it. You know, and then after they kind of achieved that goal, they kind of went into the whole like, let's go wild business. You know what I mean? Imagine screwing all this in only to find out your switches don't work. That would be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny, yeah. But that's why you test your switches before you actually put this together. If you actually know how to build, you should be testing your PCB after you solder and before you put it into the case completely. So, oops, forgot stabs. Yep, that sure happens too. That has happened to me a long time ago. Not anymore, but it's definitely happened to me. Don't worry, that noob mistake that you might make fun of right now has happened to me. It happens to all of us at some point. Maybe not you if you're not as dumb as I am, but you know. Blind trust never let me down. A Matrix Labs motto, more is more, yeah. Diego, what soldering irons are good? Are they all the same? Basically, they all are pretty good as long as you can control the temperature. You 100% should be able to control the temperature. Controlling the temperature is crucial for a soldering iron, because if it overheats, you're gonna damage components. If it underheats, like if it doesn't heat up enough, your solder is not gonna melt, or it's gonna melt too slowly, which just makes it inefficient. Soldering is all about heat transfer. So for heat transfer and like heat conductivity to be effective, thermal conductivity to be effective, you need to have temperature control. So anything that has temperature control is ideal. So you can get like a cheaper welder iron. You can also get like, there's like a few new ones I've recommended in my gear list. Go to exclamation gear and there's a bunch of recommended ones. I use a Hako FX888D, which is the one with the digital display. I've used the one with the analog knob as well, which works fine as well, which actually works pretty well. Yeah, it kind of just varies with what options you have and what options are available to your region, and then what you decide going with as far as the UI and whatnot, and like your, you know, maybe even the look or something. But yeah, I mean, like for example, like the wireless ones, the ones that have a battery charged ones, those ones like heat up more slowly. For example, like all of the TS 100, TS 80, TS 100, those ones, like they heat up more slowly, but they work just fine. And you can have, they're like thinner, they're more compact, easy to store, like easier to store away. They're not like a full station. You can just plug them into a USB-C cable or whatever, and to a battery pack, and it'll charge and it'll work. But you know, they all differ slightly. Yeah. Do you like the U88? I did. No middle screw on top? Oh, okay. I don't think it makes a difference for the middle screw, but that's fine. I'll take it out just because you said so. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm just gonna tighten all of them now. Lineups, alignment seems fine. Alright, that's it. Cool. So that's it. So that's the mounting. We're gonna forgo the side ones for now, as Zeth suggested. We can always put them in if we want to. Can always put more gaskets if we want to. But yeah, the idea basically here is that the more you emit, the more flex you give to certain sides. So right now the sides are not attached, as you can see, so there's a bit of flexibility here on the sides, right? If you only press the sides, right? And then, for example, there's no gasket here, so this part of the space bar, like, it's a little looser, right? As opposed to here, it's a little bit more stiff, right? So it all depends. So for like spacebar pressing, normally your spacebar is pressed at the 1/4-ish length, so it's not quite at the center. Most people don't press the spacebar dead center, so like that's the difference. But yeah, I mean, you get the idea, right? You can control basically which parts are going to be more flexible or not, based on how many screws you use and where you use them and where you put the gaskets, that kind of stuff. That or put the stab housing in the wrong direction. Oh, that has happened to me too. That has happened to me more times than you think. So many people buying lavenders. You mean the switches? Yeah, they're pretty popular switches. Pretty highly recommended switches. Yeah, lavenders are good. Also, AndWorks, welcome. Just saw you. This playlist is really good, by the way. Yeah, it's a playlist I just did, made with a bunch of the Game Chops music, which is, as long as you give it credit, it's free to use for like streams, DMCA wise. So yeah. That's why I use it, and also I love game music in general. So yeah, and they're pretty. Yeah, lavenders are very pretty switches. Do agree with that. Hard agree. I do think they're super cute and they're nice. I like them a lot personally. Alright, there it is. Our built Matrix ME. Yay. Let's go. Alright, let's finish this up by putting some keycaps. We have GMK Pono here. Did you join the 8X V3.0 group? I did not. Mr. LF Kingdom, I did not. The reason for it was that the design language was just not for me. That's it. It was just not my thing. Just didn't really like how it looked. Brand new set of GMK Pono we have here today. It's a matrix board I thought looked like a cheat. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't even know if I would agree because I didn't really look even that carefully. But it was just not for me. I just didn't really like it at first glance, so I just kind of skipped it. Yeah. All right. Let's see if any keycaps have moved. No, they're actually pretty okay. They're actually pretty okay. I mean, they just moved right now because I just took it out, but yeah. It actually looks perfect. Looks a lot like Olivia Dark. Its stock colors is N9 and the same pink as the 9009 pink. You know that accent color pink? Or like salmon sort of color? That's the same color. So it's N9 gray and that same accent color for the legends. It's a nice two-tone set. It's very nice actually. I mean, I think the color choice is pretty good because the contrast is pretty good. And N9 in general is like a very nice dark gray overall. So I personally really like how it looks. It's like in person it looks better than I thought, like compared to like what I saw in renders. I was like, oh, renders look good, but I thought that in person would look more interesting, and it certainly does. Like the pink kind of pops a little bit more. It's not like just like a bright pink quite, so it's a bit more subtle than that. Olivia used custom colors? Yeah, so Olivia used custom colors, so the base color was still CP for the alphas. I mean, not CP, yeah, CP, right? Wait, CP? No. Is it CP? It's like the white one? I think it is CP, right? I think CR is black, yeah. CR is black and CP is like white color. So it used that for the base color, and then for like the rose gold color, that's a custom color. I think the grayish color is also a custom color, so those two are custom colors, I'm pretty sure, for Olivia. This is, even with the foam, you can kind of see that this is quite flexible, which is kind of cool. classic set enjoyers. Yeah. Yeah, I think Zed, it's a pretty good choice for the gasket choices here. Pretty solid. Feels pretty good. At least just like my first impression of it right now, it like already feels pretty nice. We don't have any novelties today. I mean, I do have my own novelties which we can use, but client didn't send novelties. I don't think they bought it, so. Alright, cool. Alright, let's get an artisan for the escape here. I don't think if I have the same tone for this. Like this tone of pinkish. It's kind of difficult actually. I mean, this bot could go nice. It's a brighter pink though, so it doesn't quite go the same. It's an option. It's an option though. It's an option. We can also go with something like kind of brownish, which kind of looks a little different, but it looks nice still. Just like the bongo, which also kind of looks like this. I have regrets of not getting Pono. Pretty sure that Dixie, Omni-type has some left. I think. I'm pretty sure they do. Oh, or we can go kind of more colorful and use like either the Lola or the, yeah. Either the Ama or the Lola here are pretty nice choices. I'm kind of torn. Wild Story? Yeah, I think the Wild Story looks good on it. I think the pink is too bright and the brown is too warm. Too neutral toned. I think the brown, yeah, I think the Wild Story actually looks good. All right, Ama or Lola? Which one of the two? Actually, should we just try both? I can always just do it on each side corner. But no, on TKL it kind of looks off when you do that. Pink Bongo? Pink Bongo also. Wait, Pink Bongo. This one? This one is, yeah, but it has blue to it, so there's a blue mix in. So that's the only thing that's a bit off about it. Why not both? Why not both? Okay. You know, why not both? Why not all of them? So that means I could do like this 3 cluster here, but then I need to put something in between or something to mix it with, right? The Reaper? Wait, which Reaper? Which Reaper? Which Reaper? You mean the Camo Reaper? The Camo Reaper looks nice too, yeah. You mean something like this? Or actually, the Reaper here, and then something like that? The pink one? Wait, which? The pink one? The pink one... The pink Reaper. Oh, the DC Caps Reaper. This one. Who needs alpha caps at all? Just do all resin. Imagine. ¿Qué hora es? Oh wait, that's not a Bro Caps Reaper. Yeah, no, it's a DC Caps Reaper. DC Caps Reaper skull. Too bright? I think it's too bright too. I mean, it is an accent though, so kind of serves as a bit of a bright tone there. All right. whatever. Let's just leave it at this. Decision paralysis is a real thing. So let's just leave it at that. Do you like metal artisans? Yeah, some of them. I don't always get them, but I do like some of them. Yeah. All right. It's time like these, I only like 5 sculpts. I think I can see that. I kind of do agree with that in a way. Oh, focus. All right. You might hear, maybe I'll mute the mic for a second. Oh, sorry. I thought I muted it. Sorry. If it was too loud, I'm sorry. I apologize. I guess I clicked on it again. All right. Wondering if I should buy artisan keycaps. I've gone almost a year in this hobby without doing so. Paying for it, what most people pay for a keyboard for a raw brass keycap. What the hell? Yeah, artisan keycaps are definitely 100% a rabbit hole. You did mute it? I didn't hear anything. Oh. Okay. Or maybe I'm deaf. Or maybe I don't know. Okay. Cool. Thumbs up. All right. Let's stop the music for a sec. And try this. All right, are we good? All right, cool. I'm a reformed resin enjoyer. I think it's all about moderation. You can definitely keep yourself in check, but you need to know how to do that. If you can't do that, then yeah, it can be a slippery slope. It's an endless pit of money in the sense that, like, yeah, like you're kind of like, it's like buying art. You can endlessly appreciate art if you want to. The question is how are you going to choose to do so? Hey, Keegan, hello. How's it going? All right, are we good to go? Mic's working? Right? Oh, Dr. Killswitch. Oh shit, I just remembered 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago, Dr. Killswitch redeemed something. I'll be right back. Itherac, have a good night. Have a good night. Alright, I'll be right back. Hello friends, I am back. Dr. Killswitch redeemed a Totoro typing test at the very, very beginning of stream. So I have to abide by the rule. And yeah, complete the request. Alright, here we go, friends. Let's give it a shot, shall we? Alright, here we go. This is stock Gateron inks on an aluminum plate on this Matrix ME. There's gaskets along the top and along the sides and the spacebar area. Obviously with the corresponding metal pieces to attach it. And yeah, these are stock Gateron inks with GMK Pono for keycaps. Here we go. So we've gone to this point in your life. Yes. All right. You're looking very beefy all of a sudden. I feel like over time the sound might be a little annoying. I think it sounds okay. I actually think that the case is really roomy. The case is really roomy, so you can definitely hear a little bit of that like pinginess, roominess of the case. But because the switches are stock and like louder, right? You know how like Lube really kind of dampens a bit of the sound of the switch. It kind of makes it a bit flatter. Because the switch is stock, it kind of makes up for that and fills that space better. So actually you hear less of the pinginess of the case because the switches are stock. You might hear the spring a little bit, but it's actually not that bad. There's not as much spring crunch that you might find like in a Zeal PC switch, which they tend to have pretty bad spring crunch. Or like a stock Gateron, regular Gateron switch. These inks actually have okay springs, even stock. So it actually kind of fills the space a little better than I thought. I actually thought it might sound a little bit off, but it's not bad. It's not unpleasant. It's just kind of more of a, it gives me that more like stock keyboard feel, but because the stabs are lubed, it's okay. And like the case is very roomy, so kind of reverberates in the case. But anyway, that's kind of how I feel about it. There is a bit of resonance to it though. I think that's like an inevitable thing. I think the case is just a thick case. It's big. There's a lot of room in the case, and so the sound is just kind of bouncing in there. But I think the stock switches are kind of helping a little bit there. Also, Chamchi, thank you so much for the 69 bits. What are you wearing? I am your neighbor. All right, let's give it one more try. Or actually, let's do the mods and then let's give it one more try. So here's the mods. Like, the resonance here is really bad. Look at this. Anyway, that's what it sounds like for the mods. The nutty top arrow strikes yet again. I do think it definitely just has to do with a lot of material covering this area. It just kind of contributes to like a different sound. Hello neighbor, can I borrow some boards? He's lighting keyboards fan 69 as neighbor. True. True. Sounds like a Q1. Yeah, maybe the Q1 sounds like this with stock switches too. I don't know. It actually sounds okay. I don't think it's like bad. I wouldn't call this bad because, especially given that these are stock switches too. But I do think that the Matrix ME, much akin to some other boards, like there are, like the Vita. No, is it the Noah? Is pretty hollow too. There's a few of other cases like the Able X. I think it's also pretty thick. It's like kind of like this similar design. Whereas, like, if you look at the 8XV 2.0, or if you look at the 8XV 1.2 OG, or if you look at the, like, some of the other Matrix cases that have more of a classic style, they tend to be a lot more kind of compressed. The bezels are smaller, thinner, there's less room in the case, that kind of stuff. The angle's not as, very dramatic. So, like, I do think that contributes to a different sound too. This build is actually kind of interesting for what it's worth. It's pretty resonant, but it's tolerable, I would say. It's not like, ew, stock switches, ew, stock steps, rattle. So it's like, to the right person, this could be the right thing. It kind of has that office keyboard feel. Like the loud keyboard feel, like the typewriter style of feel, where it's like just loud in the alphas, like clack, 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 very clacky, and some resonance in some of the parts, right? Because it's all metal. Kind of has that feeling to it. At least evokes a bit of that image to me. But yeah, this could be further modded accordingly, however. Ew, stock switches gross. Yeah. Alright, so we can try one more time. So I'm gonna give it one more shot. Okay? This part of my thing kind of blocked me for a second. I just stuttered. But yeah, stock switches actually not bad for this case. I might actually be drunk with all these grammar and spelling mistakes. No PTFE on your switches, yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Do you guys think this is bad? Do you guys think this is good? Do you like it? Do you think it was an absolutely horrid choice to go stock? I mean, you don't have to make my client feel bad about it, but I mean, I'm just asking for your opinion on how you feel about it. I don't hate the sound for a PE foam board. I have to say, it's so roomy that even the PE foam and rubber mat didn't do that much as far as it made that alpha section really tight, but it also still has case resonance because there still is a bit of empty space in there. I mean, we could actually use that other piece of foam, you know, the other one that I didn't use, not the rubber mat, but the other one that goes below the PCB. We could put that in. We could put that in and see how it goes. I'm sure that will actually change a bit because it'll fill a decent amount of space on the underside as well. Because the rubber mat only goes maybe up to like here. So yeah. Bit muted? Oh no, it's quite light. It's actually not that muted. LFK. Stuff it with asbestos fiber. Okay, let's actually try that case foam. Shall we? Why not? Let's try that case foam. I agree, Totoro. Man, it's so hot right now. Oh, I'm starting to sweat. Does this board use scuff? I don't think this is scuff, but it is very, very similar to it. Maybe it is, but I don't think it is. I think it might just be their own like mold or whatever. Alright, so I'm actually not going to remove the adhesive because I think the adhesive is gonna, like, it would, I mean, I could, but I think I would rather not just in case the client wants to remove it. But this is basically how you would place it, right? So this is the foam. And like, you know, the adhesive is actually to paste it against the PCB. That's actually what the adhesive is for. It has an adhesive backing here, which you could actually remove. And paste it like this. But I'm actually gonna leave it for now. So that means I would place it like this in the case, right? And then, yeah, I can just flip it over and plug it in. Oh, I guess maybe I should push it through the thing here. Please, foam, give me Thocarinos. They close alright, just keep bending and sticking out. Oh, that's Keys Films, I see. Okay, never mind. Okay. So it definitely feels a bit tighter in the case now that the foam piece is in. Definitely feels like I'm compressing against a little bit of something, which is fine. Let's close it up. What kind of foam is that? It's just Poron, pretty sure. Where can I get this glorious onesie we're sporting today? I can send you the Amazon link if you want. Do you want me to do that? I can send you the Amazon link. I got it from Amazon. I love Poron. I think some people do love Poron as well, just like you. Yes, please? Okay, I'll send you the Amazon link right now. Hold on. Let's go on my Amazon orders. Totoro. Here it is. Okay. Get the link. Alright, here's the link. Stuff it with asbestos fiber and cocaine. My. Keyboard people are going insane the longer we do this build. It is a problem. Nick Dillard, hello. How's it going, Mr. Nick? Is this the first time you see me like this? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but here we are. Okay. So, all right, let's give this a shot, shall we? All right, we are now in our third typing test here. This time we have the case foam inserted, including the rubber mat. So we're gonna give this a shot. All right. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if this eliminates a bit of that case resonance that we had. All right, here we go. There it is. What brand is your mouse? This is a Razer Viper Ultimate, yeah. It's been painted by Mr. Leonardo de Mouse. Alright, so now here are the mods. Let's see how it goes with the case resonance on the mod, which was what we were wondering about. The alphas pretty much sound the same and don't feel that much different, actually, guys. I don't really think this foam really fills up space enough to push things and like feel too stuffed and like rigid, but it's so the alphas feel about the same. Okay, that's better. Right control, still a little hollow, but actually better. It's still better. Yeah, not bad. Actually, I think the resonance in the case is actually a little bit better than before. Slightly, not too much, but slightly. It definitely is improved. As far as unpleasant amount of echoing happening is, I think it's improved. Aside from the spring ink sound good stock IMO, yeah, I do agree. I do think the springs you can still hear the crunch. Inevitable. That's what the price you pay for stock switches, the fact that you save yourself a lot of time not doing anything to them. But yeah, stock springs can unfortunately suffer from the crunch problem. Still better than some other stock switches I've heard, but yeah. Weird. I've seen a few different stock Gateron Ink builds lately. Is it the same guy commissioning these? I don't know. No idea. I've been seeing a lot of people just using stock switches lately, particularly MX Blacks. Maybe people are just getting lazy now. So, yeah. Yeah. So, what do you feel? How do you feel, guys, about this? I think I'm going to leave this case foam in. And I think this current gasket configuration is pretty good. It doesn't feel extremely stiff. It definitely has stiffened up because there is a bit of foam in there. I'm sure that without it, it would feel a lot more flexible. But even then, it's actually not bad. There is still a little bit of flexibility, and it's not like particularly harsh. It is just an aluminum plate, kind of standard. But I would say not the end of the world as far as stiffness, even with the foam. And the sound, well, stock switch sound, and the case resonance is improved from adding the different materials inside, especially the rubber mat and the case foam. Yeah. Problem with stock MX Blacks is the spring. I would agree. The one thing I don't like about MX Blacks is the spring. I hate the spring. It's not to mention, is not only is it inconsistent, in modern MX Blacks, they're heavy for me, and then they just suck, honestly. The springs in Cherry MX switches are pretty bad overall, no matter what switch, personally. So, yeah. That's the one thing that would bother me. But at the point you open the switch, you're loosening the housing, you're replacing the spring, you might as well lube it too, and film, and all that. So, kind of sucks. That's why I can't see myself using stock reds, blacks, etc. because the spring sucks. Browns too, included. Yeah. With Cherry, you either get light as shit or heavy AF. Yeah. MX springs are so bad, like Cherry MX. Like, I don't know. They're just so inconsistent. They're all over the place. Like, the weighting does not feel consistent at all. At least Gateron gets that right. Better. But yeah, not Cherry MX though. Yeah, so at least the stabs are pretty good. They don't really rattle. I think whatever you hear is definitely the switch rather than the stab. Definitely don't hear any ticking. So that's good. Yeah, so my consensus is stock switch not too bad. Suffers from the consequences that you probably already imagined. And then I think the foam actually helps in this case with the nature of the case. I think the case is just very roomy. Very, very roomy case. So that is clicky level of loud, it seems, over stream. It is pretty loud. It is a pretty loud configuration right now because of not the foam, and the stock nature of the switch right now is making it pretty loud compared to a lot of like lubed switches and builds. Nice, I caught the end. Yeah. What's up, Kevin? How are you doing? I will not stop the music, but you can hear a little bit of it. It's not bad. I like it actually. I actually think I dig this. It's pretty decent. Stock switch nonetheless, like regardless of that. And the feeling of the board is actually okay. I actually do think that without the foam it would feel really flexible because of the cuts and the way the gaskets work here. It's kind of nice that you can manipulate it. Like you can omit the side ones like we did today. We omitted the ones right here basically. So pretty nice, pretty nice. But yeah, actually it sounds pretty good. This is a decent configuration, I think. What? You didn't slather on the white PTFE goop on your switches? No, I did not. Alright, well, that's all I have for the typing portion, unless you guys had any other questions. Let's show off the board. Alright. Alright. So here is our Matrix ME Basic version, which is the one without a stainless steel weight and without extra LEDs. Here it is. How's the flex? The foam omits a bit of it, but it's actually not bad. Definitely there is still some amount of flexibility. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty cool. The Starry Night finish though, it actually looks very good. I really like the Starry Night look finish here. It just looks really, really cool. Kind of helps the case that this is Pono on the board. It actually kind of bounces it a little bit better rather than the pure jet black. Yeah. The finish is quite lovely. Here's the sides of the board. It's not quite a singular wedge. It has this like part that's slightly different due to the way the case pieces are shaped. The way the seam meets here in the back is different. Has that like circular style connector at the very, very right. So it removes the scary aspect of talking. Yeah, so here's the side, cherry profile. But yeah, front height not too bad actually. And then the bottom part is like this. I know my hands are a little dirty, so might look a little smudged, but the badge part is pretty nice, and the engraving here is also, you know, neat. But it's an all aluminum bottom. Looks pretty clean nonetheless. All right.
How heavy is it? I don't know actually. Maybe like 4 or 5 pounds. It's not too heavy, but not too light. I can measure it though. 5 pounds and 2 ounces, basically. 5 pounds and 2 ounces. Which in grams, that's gonna be 2.32 kilograms. 2.3 kilograms. Not bad. I would say this is a pretty moderate amount of weight. It's not too light and not too heavy. So yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of the right side USB, to be honest, but it is okay. It's not terrible, but I'm also not in love with it either. The position of the port is like right at the scroll lock position. Was that kilogram or pounds? Kilograms. Kilograms 2.32 kilograms, and then pounds 5 pounds and 2 ounces, basically. Yeah. If it's kilograms, that's heavier than both my 1.2 and 2.0. I see. Yeah, I mean, it is quite a chunky case. Like, the bezels are pretty large, and the case itself is pretty thick. So yeah, there's quite a bit of room in there, actually, which is why the rubber mat and I think the foam do help with the resonance, especially. Yeah. It makes it sound a little less roomy, and I think it kind of helps in this particular case.
Alright, folks.
Yeah, they all add to the weight a decent bit, so. Alright, let's see. Let's see who's streaming. I think that's all I have for tonight. Not a fan of the bezels? I mean, to each their own, yeah. I would say it's like pretty mid for me, but top and bottom bezels are a bit thick. And it's also very round. I think the rounded corners is what for me is like meh. Oh, Mr. Nice, welcome back. We're pretty much concluding now, but yeah, the finish is pretty nice on it. Yeah, I think matrix finish definitely super nice. That's for sure. Okay, let's see who is streaming at the moment. Mr. Omnitype is streaming. There are Mr. Omnitype, Mr. Jeeber is building a custom board for Mrs. Omnitype. It looks like a Alice layout board from what I can see from the thumbnail. Mr. Lolstacks is doing an XRF showcase and unboxing, so no build it looks like. Shinshin Wang doing a clear on WoW. Mr. McMerlin building a chapter 1 just about to start. Mr. Gioran having some Gunpla assembly. Halloween, a lot of people streaming right now. Halloween boards. Space 80 from Gray Studio. It's Firewire with a 7V. No Kibo with a Keychron Q3. Lightning keyboards, don't know that guy. What a loser. Or I see on my recommended channels I have Hyun. I have Kev Jumba. I have Mr. Knowledge. I have Flom. I have Skara. I have Miskif. Do we raid Hyun? Just kidding. It's okay. Not noticeable, so it's fine. Probably irrelevant anyway. Alright, So let's go raid. We can go raid. It's Firewire. For him, this would be a big moment in his career. Is that so? That's cool. Looks like maybe they just started. And I think they're soldering right now. I want to thank you again for your help. You saved me from the gray hairs. Oh, that's good. I'm glad, Mr. Nice. What's the plan for next stream? Next stream, I believe I will be building an F2 from Geonworks. I still have to finish lubing those switches though, so I need to work on that. You should raid. Ha! Choking these nuts. Ah! Raid XQC. Oh boy. Anyway, we can raid someone new. We can raid someone else that we know. Do you guys have a preference? If you don't have a preference, I think the only person who has stated something is Drua. Suggested Meow11, who does not exist. Hyun, maybe. Raid Pokey. I don't think Pokey's streaming, is she? I don't know actually. I didn't check. Anyway, no suggestions. Alright, let's go raid someone new. It's Firewire, apparently building a 7v with Zaku's. So let's just go and check him out. Support some smaller and newer streamers. Let's show them some love. Let's see. Let's ask a ridiculous question. Do you like Thocky, Clanky, Marbly, Pearly, Earthy, or give me one more adjective. One more adjective. Thocky, Clanky, Marbly, Pearly, Early, Thacky, Tonky, or Clocky switches. Which one's more meta? Meowgo, fight. All right, we'll go raid. It's Firewire. Hopefully, they are prepared to answer this very difficult question, the question of the century, the question that everyone wants to know the answer to. Which one is the best switch for gaming and has the Thocky, Clackly, Marbly, Pearly, Earthy, Thacky, Tonky, Clocky sound that is most meta adherent? All right, friends. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Bye bye.